In 1999, nobody predicted the smartphone. In 2005, nobody predicted social media at scale. In 2015, nobody predicted that within a decade, AI would be writing essays, generating images, and holding conversations indistinguishable from those with humans. Predicting the future is a form of organized overconfidence, but there is a difference between predicting specific products and predicting the direction of underlying trends. The trends visible right now in energy, in computing, in biology, in urbanization point toward a world in 2050 that is not difficult to sketch in broad strokes. The specific inventions that will define it are unknown. The forces shaping it are not. This is what is being built right now that will define the world 25 years from today. The most reliable way to understand the future is to look at what is already inevitable. Inevitable does not mean good or bad. It means that the investment, the infrastructure, and the momentum behind a given trajectory have reached a point where reversal would require a disruption larger than any currently visible. 5 such trajectories are currently underway simultaneously, a convergence that has no historical precedent. Clean energy is being deployed faster than any previous energy transition. AI is improving at a rate that is transforming every knowledge-based industry. Biology is becoming programmable in ways that were science fiction 10 years ago. Urbanization is concentrating more of humanity in cities that are being redesigned for efficiency. And automation is restructuring the relationship between human labor and economic output. All 5 of these transitions are happening at the same time, feeding into each other and accelerating each other. By 2050, the energy system of the world will be unrecognizable compared to today. Solar and wind are already the cheapest form of new electricity generation in history, and the cost continues to decline. The International Energy Agency now projects that by 2050, renewable energy will supply over 90% of global electricity. The fossil fuel infrastructure that powered the 20th century will still exist, but it will be legacy infrastructure, not the backbone of the system. The enabler of this transition is storage. Solid-state batteries and other advanced storage technologies are solving the intermittency problem that has been the primary limit on renewable penetration. And fusion, if the current commercial timelines hold, adds baseload clean power that requires no grid-scale storage at all. The energy transition is not primarily a story about climate. It is a story about cost. Clean energy is becoming the cheapest energy ever produced by human civilization. The economic momentum behind it is now independent of any policy environment. By 2050, roughly 70% of the world's population will live in cities. The urban environments those billions of people inhabit will be built on different principles than the cities that exist today. The car, the device that organized urban land use for 100 years, is being displaced. Not immediately and not everywhere at once, but the combination of autonomous vehicles, which eliminate the need for parking at points of destination, and dense public transit, which becomes economically viable when AI can optimize routing in real time, is producing cities that are designed for movement rather than storage. The land currently dedicated to parking in major American cities, an area larger than the state of Connecticut, becomes available for housing, parks, and commercial space as autonomous vehicles are summoned rather than parked. Vertical farming, growing food in climate-controlled towers using LED lighting and hydroponic systems, is scaling in proximity to the cities it serves, reducing the agricultural land required per person and the transportation energy required to move food from farm to consumer. The programmability of biology is the least understood and most consequential of the current transitions. CRISPR gene editing, approved for its first therapeutic application in late 2023, is now in clinical trials for dozens of genetic diseases. The pipeline extends to heart disease, cancer, and neurological conditions. The ability to correct the genetic errors that cause inherited diseases in a living patient, not just prevent them in future generations, is a therapeutic paradigm shift with no precedent in medical history. AI-accelerated drug discovery is compressing the timeline for new therapeutics from an average of 12 years to a projected 3 to 5. The combination of AI simulation of molecular interactions and robotic laboratory automation means that drug candidates can be identified, synthesized, and tested at a rate that the human-only research model cannot approach. By 2050, many of the diseases that define human suffering today, certain cancers, Alzheimer's, type 1 diabetes, are likely to have either cures or management protocols that bear no resemblance to current treatment. The human lifespan in high-income countries will have extended further, and the quality of those added years will be significantly better. The question of what human beings do for economic participation in a world of abundant AI and automation is the most politically and socially contested aspect of the 2050 trajectory. The optimistic view holds that automation has always, historically, created more jobs than it destroyed, that the productivity gains from machines free humans to do higher value work that was not previously economically viable. The pessimistic view holds that this time is categorically different, that AI is not automating a category of physical task, but the cognitive functions that gave humans their economic advantage over machines, and that the transition this time will be faster than the human institutions of education, social support, and political negotiation can absorb. Both views are likely to be partially correct in different places at different times. The 2050 labor market will look different in a country that adapts its educational systems and social contracts than in one that does not. The transition will produce both significant increases in human flourishing and significant disruption to the social structures built around wage labor. The world of 2050 is not a utopia. It is not a dystopia. It is the sum of choices being made right now by engineers, by investors, by policymakers, and by the billions of ordinary people who decide which technologies to adopt, which to resist, and which to demand be governed differently. The technologies are not the story. The technologies are the material. The story is what gets built with them. The future is not something that happens to humanity. It is something that humanity makes. The raw material for what comes next is being assembled in laboratories, factories, and server rooms around the world right now. What shape it takes, what kind of world a child born today inherits at 25 is still being decided. Pay attention, it matters.